What's up, nerds? My name is True DeMille, and this is how to play Rummathon Royale, a strategic rummy-style card game for 2 to 6 players that plays in about 60 minutes. In Rummathon Royale, you'll race to complete sets, disrupt your opponents, and be the first to clear your hand to declare victory. Now, this is a prototype version of the game, so please keep in mind that components and rules may change in the final release. In Rummathon Royale, players compete over multiple rounds to complete unique sets and sequences with number and action cards. Each round, your goal is to complete a specific sequence from your rule card and strategically clear your hand. The player with the highest score at the end of the agreed upon number of rounds is crowned the Rummathon Royale champion. We suggest starting with 4 to 6 rounds until you're ready for the ultimate marathon of all 12 rounds of Rummathon Royale. In Rummathon Royale, there are 96 number cards in 4 colors, numbered 1 through 12, that are used to complete your sequences. 16 special action cards to help you or hinder your opponents, including 8 flex cards, 2 block cards, 2 burden cards, 2 bypass cards, and 2 sabotage cards, and 6 rule cards that outline each player's round-by-round sequence goals. And then there are 8 display cards with visual examples of required sequences to help players during gameplay. To set up the game, you'll shuffle the number and special action cards together and deal 12 cards to each player, making sure to keep them hidden. The remaining deck becomes the draw pile, with 1 card flipped over to form the discard pile. If the first discard happens to be a special action card, add it to the first player's hand and flip a new card to start the discard pile. The player to the dealer's left will then start. Next, each player receives a unique rule card showing the specific sets and sequences required for the round. For instance, player 1's card may say they need 3 sets of 2 and 1 run of 4, while player 2 may need 1 set of 3, 1 set of 2, and 1 run of 5. With objective set, you're ready to play. Start each turn by drawing a card from the draw pile or the discard pile. If you choose to draw from the discard pile, you can take any visible card, but you must also pick up each card that follows it. The chosen card must also immediately be used to complete part of your round sequence. Next, you'll choose a card to discard and end your turn, unless you're able to complete your entire sequence for the round by playing the required sets and runs shown on your rule card. Sets are made up of cards of the same number, and runs are consecutive numbers. Keep in mind that some sequences may require cards of the same color as well. If you are able to complete your round sequence, your next aim is to go out by discarding the rest of your cards onto your own or other players' sequences. Alternatively, you may also declare Rummathon Royale at the start of your next turn, which allows you to advance to the next sequence while others are still on the current round. Be warned, however, if you don't finish that new sequence before someone else goes out, you'll have to repeat the original round you started on. Declare a double Rummathon Royale if you're confident you can finish a second additional round, and it will end the game immediately if you're successful, crowning you the winner. Like I mentioned earlier, you'll end your turn by discarding 1 card to the discard pile, which will start a discard train. Make sure to stack cards visibly so they can be utilized on future turns. Now let's walk through our special action cards. Flex cards are wild cards usable in any sequence as any number. Burden cards add an extra requirement to an opponent's round sequence, but cannot be played on any player who has already completed their round. A burden grants the targeted player a 50-point bonus if completed, or 100 points for a double burden. But if the player fails to complete it, the points go to the player who assigned the burden, acting as a strategic bounty. Bypass cards skip any opponent's turn, and block cards protect your own sequences from interference. A second block card can defend another player's sequence. If you happen to be the player that was blocked, you won't be able to play on your own sequence or declare Rummathon Royale during this round. And sabotage cards remove all flex cards from opponents' hands, reshuffling them into the deck. While flex cards can be played like any other card on your turn as part of your sequences, burden, bypass, block, and sabotage cards must be discarded at the end of your turn as your chosen discard. To win a round, complete your required sequence and discard all of your remaining cards. The player who goes out scores points based on cards remaining in other players' hands. Each card with a value of 1 to 9 is 5 points each, where each card with a value of 10 to 12 is 10 points, bypass, burden, and block cards are worth 15 points each, sabotage cards are 20 points each, and flex cards are 25 points each. And make sure to count the points earned from burden cards throughout the round as well. After the first round, players are then able to cash in points to be dealt up to a maximum of 20 extra cards before seeing their hand at the beginning of the round. Each extra card costs 10 points, allowing players to use their points to increase their chances in the next round. After the agreed upon number of rounds, the player with the most points is crowned the Rummathon Royale champion. And that's how you play Rummathon Royale. This game combines timing, strategy, and a hint of luck for a rummy-inspired experience that's perfect for game nights. Now that you know how to play, grab your deck and aim for victory in Rummathon Royale.